beaches, man. No, bro.
I think I got that on recording.
I don't care. I really don't, man. I'm not a beach guy. I'm not a beach guy. Oh, I want to go out and lay and tan. Guess what? I got a backyard. It won't kill me. So there you go, man. Nope.
Welcome back to the Glorious Sunrise Podcast. It's a glorious day for John to complain about the beach. John, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. I'm not Stanley Kubrick. We're good. We're good.
Guys, welcome back to the podcast. I know we missed last week. We unfortunately some family emergencies, some things popped up that prohibited us from being able to record, but we're back.
Yep.
And we're going to try and avoid that in the future. We've got some plans to try and make sure that does not happen. So that being said, I'm really excited to talk about today's episode. This was your idea for this episode, and I thought it was a really good one. We're talking sets versus blocks. So
absolutely.
What brought this to your attention? I mean, what kind of made you think of this?
Just with the new sets that are coming out that are just kind of in general blocks, go wides with Neon Dynasty and Streets of New Capenna. But I mean, I kind of wanted to talk about what our favorite sets and favorite blocks were at the same time. I don't know if you're prepared for that, but
I'm always prepared for that.
I was prepared for that, but then also give, what our take is on the sets versus blocks. Do we like the blocks more than the sets versus, but I got opinions on both. I don't think I've got a really solid opinion that leans one way or another. I just kind of middle ground with it. But man, it was just the change of the environment and the play style. And if you played long enough, you can actually feel and see it. So that's kind of how it came about.
No, it's definitely an interesting topic. And obviously, this swap from kind of like full 3 set blocks kind of happened a while back, I guess. I don't remember the exact year that they switched that. But obviously lately we've been more set focused, and yes, there's an underlying story generally, like at least there was for the whole Nicol Bolas arc. But we were kind of jumping planes, jumping realms, doing a lot of different stuff. And I think there is, to your point, there's a lot of good and bad in that. And I think, we can talk more about that as we get into it. But I think the idea of you could very easily land either way. And I think there's a reasonable argument either way, to be honest. I kind of find myself in a middle ground for this as well, because personally, my favorite sets have been part of blocks, generally speaking.
Oh, yeah.
And so, maybe there's an internal bias there, I guess you could say, where I do kind of lean more towards the blocks. But I also think it's a lot based on my own kind of personality type, where I like deep dives into stuff. More information is better, and so I like to see a little bit more of that, which I don't necessarily think is the case for everybody. So I don't know. That's just kind of where I have a hard time reconciling like a right quote unquote answer out of that argument.
Yeah, no, you started touching on it. Well, I'm not going to go any further. You started touching on it right there at the end of kind of right where I'm at with it as well. But we'll leave that until do you want to cover what was your favorite set?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Man, go first.
I can jump right in. So my
set?
all-time favorite set was the original Ravnica City of Guilds. Now, obviously, we've revisited Ravnica a handful of times. I actually like almost all. I think I like all of the Ravnica sets, though I do have an order to which I like them. But definitely the original was my favorite. And the entire Ravnica block, I think, was quite a good one. But as a whole, the first set, Ravnica City of Guilds, was definitely my favorite because, it obviously represented a multicolor theme, which I generally tend to lean towards. I like multicolor formats. I thought Shards and the whole Alara block was a really fun one because we got to explore more 3-color formats. Obviously, Ravnica is a little more 2-color heavy, but there were so many layers to the story that was kind of going on all at once because you had all the different factions or guilds that you got to see interact and the ways that they handled things, the mechanics of each one. It just provided a lot of depth that I think certain sets may be lacking. And so for me, Ravnica really explored that very heavily. It was also nostalgic for me. That was a time where I was kind of into Magic pretty heavily, having sold out before and after. And so it was kind of a nice opportunity and a nice kind of middle ground for me during that time. And I just really enjoyed it. I learned a lot during that set as well, because I learned my favorite strategy is Mill, which was very focused on Dimir. And so I really liked that. What was yours?
Yeah, man. No, heavy bias. It's all about experience with the set as well. But the original Innistrad in 2011.
Man, you and everybody else. No, I'm just kidding.
Not well. I mean, I was at the Austin Grand Prix the weekend it released.
Oh, jealous.
So that was when that's when I got the Brian Kibler to sign the card and met RK Post and Darkin and all of those guys. And plus it was the newness of the stuff that they were introducing into it. We got the flip cards, we had our first flip Planeswalker with Garrick. We had the great Planeswalker and Liliana the Vel. And then we got like Kessig Wolf Run. We got a lot of cards that are still utilized in a lot of the formats that I still play today. I mean, we got Snapcaster Mage. We got the first Delver of Secrets that was working really well. We had Geist of St. Traft. We had Olivia Valdarin. Man, it was just a fun time, bro.
Sure.
It was just a fun time. I spent a whole weekend with a group of guys. We all shared one room to cut costs. It stunk like a locker room, regardless of what we did. But I mean, it was like a road trip, and we had commander pods going on there. We got the Grand Prix mats. We had gotten there early enough to get that, and it was just, the vendors were awesome. The environment was awesome. It's just something that I miss today. But it was definitely the introduction of Innistrad, and then of course just, I don't know. I guess that's when Wizards first said they were kind of leaning towards more of like a horror movie theme type style for it, and the flip cards, man. Everybody blew their minds out with the flip cards, and now it's just there.
No, you're exactly
everybody
right.
sees them and they're just there. But when we first got them, man, people were divided, bro.
And I know some people still are, because at the time, if I remember correctly, the flip cards provided a lot of argument because of other card games. Like, other card games were utilizing flip cards, and therefore there was a worry that Magic was kind of just copying and doing things like that. When in fact, I don't know that was the case. I don't have an argument for or against that. Personally, if it works in another card game, why wouldn't you try it in your own? So like, I don't have any ill will towards that. But I have heard Morrow talk about the original flip cards and some of the clunkiness that was introduced with it and all that stuff.
It was, man.
I know that was something that obviously they revisited later when we came back to Innistrad and a lot of other things. But no, Innistrad was a great set all around. I mean, to your point, the Victorian horror was phenomenal just thematically. It was a really good example of kind of a top-down approach where they had the setting, they had all these ideas, and you could really design cards around that, versus designing a card and then trying to thematically match it to whatever you're trying to do. And so it was a prime example, and I think Ravnica to that point is a bit in that direction as well. But I think Innistrad represents that even better. I mean, Innistrad was a great set. Limited was pretty fun too, if I recall correctly.
And what I love about Innistrad though is they've really carried the theme. This is where I'll give Wizards props. I think they've carried the theme of Innistrad really well as they've progressed into it and everything. One of the funniest arguments about the flip cards though is we had a guy in our play group, commander and local store, and he was there that weekend too, as he was a blue mage. And he absolutely had to have Delver of Secrets and everything. And now he was going to have to change all of his clear-backed card protectors to solids, bro. That was his biggest complaint. And then I got to take it out and switch it. And why can't I just have one in one sleeve and one in another? And I'm just like, bro, it's...
I love that.
But no, man. No, it was just a lot of fun, man. And it comes off as my favorite set too, a lot because of nostalgia. But no, man, it had some powerful stuff. I mean, Snapcaster Mage is still used. Liliana Vel is probably one of the most expensive Planeswalker cards still out there.
Yeah.
And Kessig Wolf Run given trample and the pluses off of it.
And Huntmaster of the Fells. Do you remember Huntmaster?
Yeah, Huntmaster. Well, I mean, there was
one of my favorite flip cards.
Was Mare of Averbrook? That was Mare of Averbrook.
I don't know.
I think that was in the same one too. There was just a lot of stuff that came out of that
stuff,
that got played, man. And Olivia, like overnight, became a huge commander in our play groups. She's just amazing. But
and the art,
yeah, man, flying above
the
whole
wrong
crowd.
art.
What do you mean?
There's a mistake in the artwork. Did you know?
No, I didn't.
If you look at the art I've got like multiple versions of Olivia Valderin, but if you look at the artwork, look where her feet are, and then look at where her knee is supposedly in the artwork. I'm surprised you don't know this.
Does she have some funky feet?
So it's funny because in the artwork, if you just glance at the artwork, it looks like she's got one knee up above, and then one is like straight down. Are you looking at the artwork right now?
I'm gonna.
But if you look where her feet are, both of her feet are at the bottom, and so it makes no sense for her knee to be where it is. And so the joke is that it's Olivia's boner, obviously. But
right on. I'm gonna bring this card up.
Yeah, I'm so surprised you didn't know this. This is like.
Oh, both of her legs are down.
Yeah. But she's got a knee sticking out.
Yeah,
or supposedly it's a knee.
I never even paid attention that both of her legs were down. I always saw, okay, the one leg that's got heavier shadow, that is her, I guess her right leg.
Yeah.
That's the one that my eye has only recognized. That left one, I was thinking was part of the dress.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
What is she holding in her hand?
That's a great question. Let's expand this. Let's
go to the
So
block.
I do have I have a genuine question for you though, because both of us named cards or sets, excuse me, that were obviously part of a larger block. So in comparison to the rest of the block, I believe for Innistrad that would have been Avacyn Restored and Dark Ascension. Am I correct?
Yep.
How do you, I mean, obviously you picked Innistrad, but how do the other two measure up to Innistrad? Are they anywhere close? How do you feel about that? Because I think that we're kind of starting to delve into the argument of block versus just a single set with this question, given the fact that, are the subsequent sets just not necessarily as good, generally speaking? Is it even worth exploring?
See, that's kind of where I'm different. They've done some blocks that were just absolute bangers from start to finish, which is one of my blocks that I pick. It's nostalgic again too, but it was just straight gas from start to finish.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, man. Probably. but no, man. No. Innistrad was it for that block. I mean, Restored
the other
and
two
Ascension had
great.
some good cards.
Yeah.
But they weren't super
great.
solid, which kind of brings into the argument of sets versus blocks, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it kind of petered off, man.
Which I would argue the same for Ravnica. I mean, I think Ravnica was definitely the highlight of the block. I think there were definitely great cycles of cards even in the subsequent sets, because you had Shocklands, right? Like, if nothing else, you had Shocklands in the subsequent sets, which on its own is enough to say, okay, this is important. Because you have to think, too, we've had many reprints of Shocklands throughout the years, but that was the original printing of Shocklands. And with those came really the formation of a lot of the modern format, indeed. Because, you didn't really have fetchable dual lands prior to that. And so with the fetch lands and now with the shock lands, all of a sudden you've got a modern format that wasn't necessarily, super viable or flexible prior to. And so, and I am hesitant to say that only because I don't remember exactly when Modern was created as a format. I feel like it was around that time, so it might have been after that set that it actually was created, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't play enough Modern to even pay attention to dates. I don't play enough Modern to pay attention to Modern, but there are people who do. There are people that do. But I mean, yeah, man. Okay, so that petered off, but then, and this isn't even my block, but then you got blocks like what is it, World Wake and Rise of the Eldrazi and Zendikar.
Yeah, that was a sick one.
Oh my gosh, man! From
that was good all the way through.
Start to finish. That warped standard play for FNMs for a long ass time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and
I mean, and you got Jace the Mind Sculptor is the only card that will pop out that came out of that block that just absolutely crushed the format for a long time. But
Stoneforge Mystic.
Well, yeah, Stoneforge Mystic was there too. Is that when we started seeing the swords, or did we start seeing the swords and scars?
Swords were prior to. That would have been scars. But yeah, I mean the World Wake. I mean, because in addition to that, the Eldrazi themselves have created their own deck styles, and obviously, like later on, we got things like Eldrazi Tron and some ridiculous stuff. But the Annihilator mechanic that came out of those sets was ridiculous.
That's the block where we got the Planeswalkers too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, no. Wait, Lorwyn was the first one.
Was it?
Yeah, that was Jace Beleren. We had Nissa.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the good Planeswalkers.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. But, speaking of good blocks, I would even argue Lorwyn all the way through was a really good block. I mean, we didn't necessarily have a ton of, like, amazing standout cards from the block, but it certainly had a handful, and I think thematically that was just one of the most cool sets that we've seen. And I know it's one of the ones that most people want to return to. Because of its tribal synergies, things like that. That was really a standout there. But I thought you were going to mention Mirrodin. I thought that's where you were going to go. The original Mirrodin block
no. So
an interesting one.
No. Oh, so are we doing blocks now? You want to hear my block?
Yeah, we can do block. Let's do that.
Okay, straight nostalgia again, but Scars of Mirrodin.
Yeah, I thought you'd say that.
Yeah, man.
It's a good one, man.
It's so insane from start to finish. You had Scars of Mirrodin Besieged, and then you roll into New Phyrexia, and there was so much going on in it, man. So much.
We had so many standout cards from that block. I mean, you brought up the swords, obviously a great one. One of my favorite Planeswalkers is actually from there, which is Tezzeret, Agent of Bolus. I think that's such a sick Planeswalker.
Yeah.
A lot of obviously artifact synergies, but we also had the Praetors that came out, which have been warping formats.
But you did. You said it, artifacts, man. We ended up with was that? No, that wasn't Spellskite, right? Well, yeah, it was Spellskite.
I think Spellskite, yeah.
Yeah, so we had Spellskite, and we had the poison counter decks.
Poison counter, Infect.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh, how could I forget?
But we had Batter Skull, we had Worm Coil Engines, we had
Living
swords.
Weapon, or was that the mechanic?
Living Weapon was one. We had Livewire Lash, which I think was Scars. Genesis Wave ended up becoming a commander staple.
Oh man,
Beast Within, Mental Misstep. Unnatural growth.
Phyrexian mana.
The Phyrexian mana.
Can we just talk about that for a second? One of the top broken mechanics, I think, of all time. Up there with like Dredge and Storm, for sure. Like, it's stupid that you can just play basically free stuff.
Oh yeah, man. And well, look, what is it? Gitaxian Probe. Is that it? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, it's
Gitaxian Probe.
Like, everywhere.
It's one cost blue Phyrexian mana or 2 life. You draw a card and you look at your opponent's hand. Hey, let me know what you're playing. Yeah.
I can have free information in a game where information is like 90% of the game.
Yeah, man. It was when I think I was running a Zorius control with Zorius Delver with Geist of Saint Traft.
Yeah.
And Gitaxian Probe, man. And I would keep one lane hands if I had a probe in hand.
Yeah, why not? There's no reason not to. I
No.
mean, it's a freebie. Yeah, there were so many good things out of that. I would also argue that the original Mirrodin block was a big shapeshifter for the standard environment at the time. I mean, it broke standard like 100%, broke it wide open with affinity. I mean, we just had some ridiculous decks. Now, I didn't play specifically during that time, so I've learned this post Mirrodin standard, but you know, if you go back, that was one of the most hated or loved. It was one of the most polarizing standard environments because you could do so many ridiculous things, but it made the format like a little too broken. And for standard, that's not something that you get to say very often. And so it was a little polarizing for sure, but it was a really good set as a whole. I mean, we got a lot of really good cards out of those original Mirrodin block. Dark Steel and then Fifth Dawn, all of them. And so just a wealth of really awesome blocks in the history. But if we're contrasting that to specifically just individual sets, you know, what are some of the all-stars for specifically just an individual set, not a set that's part of a larger block? Is there a standout for you that you can kind of think of?
Once we got away from the blocks?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there a set that stands
really
out to
stood
me?
out for you? Mm-hmm.
Probably Dominaria.
I was literally thinking the exact same thing. Dominaria was a pretty big one.
Dominaria was pretty big. War of the Spark was different.
War of the Spark was very different.
And I gotta be honest, I'm not upset with Neon Dynasty or Streets of New Capenna. Like I said, I still think Neon Dynasty was probably the more powerful of the two. But I think
I agree with that.
Well, maybe with the rest of it, I still think Neon Dynasty was probably the more powerful of the two. But I think those two back to back sent standards so wide.
Yeah, definitely.
That if you're a content creator, if you're just a brewer, you're still in bliss. I mean, you could complain about the latter all day, but if you're going to play where you're having fun, those two sets did it for you. You got so many things you can do. It's like a trigger junkie's Christmas.
Yeah.
So
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I mean, you're exactly right. We got so much flexibility out of just those two sets, and that's not even looking at the previous sets that are currently in the standard rotation. And so it's pretty easy to basically go in whatever direction you would like with the cards available right now. And it's fascinating to see what people do brew with. And I think to your point, and something that we try and represent, at least on It Resolves, like if you are just trying to have fun, you're hard pressed to not have fun in a standard environment right now if that's your goal, because you've got so many options available to you. You can literally go in whatever direction you want. The flexibility is there. And the power level is there. You know, we've got two, I think, relatively powerful standard sets right now.
Well, insane. Yeah, come on. When's the last time you had a 7-drop that hits the board on the regular?
Yeah.
Who really thought Titan of Industry was going to be a regular in a whole lot of decks? Now, is it viable in the standard ladder grind with the Boros and the White Weenies and stuff like that? Maybe not, but, you know, 5-6 years ago, you wouldn't be casting that thing at all. It'd be sitting in the dust.
Yeah. Absolutely. It'd be a limited bomb, right? Like that's where you'd expect to see it. Now I will say too, traditional standard versus best of one standard, you probably see more of it, I would assume. But generally speaking, yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, a lot of these like heavy hitting, high mana value spells you wouldn't normally get to see. But even going back to things like Storm the Festival, like that's a card. I mean, obviously that's a good card. There's no doubt about that. But like that's a pretty high mana value card. But it offers so much. It's sort of like a, I want to say collected company on steroids, but it's good and bad in different ways. So like I can't necessarily compare the two exactly, but it's such a powerhouse card, and we're able to play it, like reliably play it. It's fascinating.
No, it's a favorite for me. We have a love-hate relationship though, because I can't tell you how many times I've cast that thing on live stream and only pulled up, freaking lands.
Lands.
It's like, really, bro?
But see,
really?
even
This
in that scenario,
you're
your two more lands
I don't
closer
care.
to playing the next Storm the Festival, which you can do because it has flashback. I mean, it's phenomenal.
It has been harder for me to hit Ren and Chariot combo off of Storm the Festival than it was for me putting the Mech Titan together.
The Mech Titan. Wow. That's a combo I never really delved into.
I hit it once, man, and I was like done because I made a video where I won a lot, but I couldn't hit it. And then I told live stream, this was before I transferred over to It Resolves.
Yeah.
And then I told my live stream, I was like, look, I'm going to do it this weekend. This weekend, I'm going to get the Mech Titan off, and you're going to get a video of one game, and I'm going to win because it's going to be Mech Titan. Yeah. And who knew putting Ren and Chariot together off of Storm the Festival was going to be harder than that crap. Shit, man.
Shouldn't have been.
No, Storm the Festival is great, but another one was the Midnight Hunt set, man. I liked it too. I really did. I did, bro. I knew, man. Well, first of all, I called Meat Hook Massacre, so it is. So, and then I was working on a Rakdos deck at the time, and Florian went right into it, and I still play that deck, and that deck's still viable on the ladder. It could hold its own on direct challenges and live stream, and it's my Rakdos tutor deck because I mean that dude is a straight tutor. If you got Goldspan going in for 4 over the top, and you're looking at the top 4 cards of your library, I've had it where I've looked at the top 8 or 12 cards of my library. You're finding what you need.
Yeah.
So that set gave me a lot to play around with, man. I think that's why I like it, is because I got a lot of stuff out of it that I like playing with. But
for me, Dynasty, it was middle of the road. If I can, interject. I don't think it was a bad set. I think it was very fun, and I think there are obviously a lot of great cards. I mean, you mentioned Florian. There's a lot of very good stuff in the set, and so I did enjoy it for that. I also enjoyed the fact that it was an Innistrad set because Innistrad's up there for me in general as well. But I think in general, I was just like, okay, this is going to be a good set. And it was, and that was it. Like, it didn't really hit a major chord for me. I think there are a lot of really powerful cards in it, but it just, I don't know. It didn't strike me as much as I thought it would.
No, that's fine. Now, can I offer a suggestion?
No. All right, moving on. No, I'm just kidding. What's your suggestion?
I think it fell flat for a lot of people because they were still dealing with Allrun's Epiphany.
I agree. So can I talk about Kaldheim?
Yeah.
Kaldheim is fucking annoying to me. I love it for a lot of cards in it and simultaneously hate it mostly for those exact same cards. Like, prime example, Blood on the Snow. What a fucking annoying card to be against, but it's also just a really good card, so you can't hate it.
Man. It's great.
Yeah, it's a fantastic card. Goldspan Dragon, fantastic card. Really fucking annoying to play against. Like, I have to be honest, with upcoming rotation, kind of happy that one's going out.
Real quick, folks, segue for next week's. We're going to be talking about favorite cards rotating out and what we're looking for.
Sorry, I'm jumping the gun a little bit.
But no, but you're exactly right. And the only reason I throw that out there is because we've talked about this a couple weeks in advance. We've had these schedules on what we're going to produce for the podcast. And I have seen more videos of what's our top 10 most hated rotating out over this past week, and I was like, man, okay, everybody's triggered on the same ideas here, but I'm definitely looking forward to that episode. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. No, you're absolutely right. There is a lot of stuff out there that has remained and warped, and just proving the fact that, man, sometimes good cards are just good cards.
I mean, you can't help it. And I mean, this is a whole other episode that we did not plan for if we wanted to delve into it. But there is the opportunity to discuss power creep a little bit, and the fact that so many of these cards that we're seeing nowadays are, I mean, if you compare them to cards years ago at a very similar mana cost, it's pretty easy to draw the conclusion that, cards are getting pretty powerful and definitely moving up the curve in general. Whether that's good or bad is a completely separate question. I think people often associate power creep as a bad thing, and certainly in a lot of ways it can be. But I would also say that as a game grows, you do have to build on it. And so that's kind of a natural growth, I would argue, in some capacity. But again, that's a whole other episode. But to your point, yeah, I mean, it's represented so well through a lot of the latest sets because we are getting so many game warping or format warping cards from specific sets. And I mean, you brought up Allrun's Epiphany. That was a prime example of a card that just took over.
Damn.
Blood on the Snow, though. Dude. But I mean, in a smaller capacity, Blood on the Snow, because control decks all of a sudden could sweep the board and recur a threat.
That, but I would say Doomscar over Blood on the Snow warped even more because it's just a cheaper board wipe.
It is just a cheaper board wipe.
You can foretell it on turn 2 and cast it on turn 3, and it will stop aggro in its tracks.
Yeah, 100%.
So, but no, man. I mean, look, there. I don't even know if it's power creep, man. It's just power steroid cards. Goldspan's busted.
Yeah.
Chariot's busted. Allrun's Epiphany was busted. Flash on the Emperor, and she's not rotating out.
No.
Busted. Kaido having phase out on his turn 1 if you can't remove him before he, into turns. Busted. Ob Nixilis casualty. Busted. I mean, you got there's definitely a jump in power, but I mean, I don't know, man. I look at it kind of because when I'm playing the game, I see a whole match of hallucinations in my head, I guess, so to speak. You
should get that looked at, John.
I know. I'm watching Wizards battle.
Yeah.
Boom. And that's why it's fun for me. Just because I'll immerse myself into my, my own imagination.
Sure.
I think the way I look at power creep is, man, if I'm sitting in school studying to be a mage, if I'm not getting any better, then what the hell am I doing wrong? Yeah. So I don't mind the power creep. You just got to kind of adjust to it and adapt. But stuff like Allrun's Epiphany, man, should never have lasted that damn long.
No, it shouldn't have. And they've really been kind of letting things last a little bit too long. But and that was, again, a whole other episode if we wanted it to be.
Well, now their excuse is alchemy, and that could be a whole nother episode.
Yeah, that is a whole other episode. Fun fact, actually, just before when you and I were chatting, I was checking out the YouTube comments on the alchemy video that I posted last week because I am aware of the time. And somebody commented on it saying, like, as much as I don't want to bash you, I hate alchemy and like all this stuff, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit. And it's somebody who's a regular, so I don't take it badly or anything. But they think it's bad for the game, of course, and all that stuff. And man, that really opens up a conversation that we could certainly have.
Look, dude, people are fierce about alchemy.
They are. It's a very polarizing topic, which I think is good and bad. But anyway, to kind of bring it back to the original question. Because I mean, again, the question is blocks versus individual sets. So, how do we feel about it? What's the good? What's the bad? We've kind of talked a lot about the good ones and some of the bad ones and that kind of stuff. But overall, do you land in a place where one's better than the other, or do you just think there's pluses and minuses to both, and that's just how it's going to be?
I fall in the category of I'm going to be a libertarian on this one. I kind of fall in the middle. Look, there are arguments for both, and I can see both sides. I liked the themes, the overall arch of a block, and the theme and the storytelling and stuff like that. I really enjoyed that. Because whether you read the books or not, you kind of got a feel for the growth of a block.
Sure, absolutely.
Sets, I think, offers Wizards a better option of being able to turn the format on a dime. And kind of go wide and experience or kind of, just tinker around with other things that if they're in a block, arc, they couldn't do.
So I think you hit on something really important, which is it's a good business decision to move with sets. because that was going to be kind of where I landed as well. I actually personally prefer blocks because, like I said earlier, I like a nice deep dive on a world and environment, the plane itself, the characters. I miss the novels that we used to get. Like I enjoyed that. However, the argument opposing that is very clear, which is that if it's a bad initial set, you lose the audience for the next two. There's no doubt about it. And it's a pretty obvious equation to say, well, if we just go for a single set, either people like it or they don't, but they move on to the next one after that. And so they're not pigeonholed for a year into the same plane, which I think is partially a sign of the times. I think we, attention span wise, kind of lose interest in a plane pretty quickly. And so as a whole, people tend to want to move out of it and see something new, or revisit an old plane and then come back to a new one later or something like that. But they like to jump in and out to the next new thing. And I get that. And I think certainly it was the right call to make that decision. But I kind of miss blocks. I really liked the deep dive. And I just feel like, you know, while we can still get a deep dive and that kind of stuff, we don't really spend the time to explore in depth a lot of the characters, a lot of the things that go on. And so it's kind of just about the next thing. And that's fine. I mean, it makes most people happy, I'm sure. And so I do think it's the right business decision. I don't know. I liked blocks, man, personally.
I did too, for the same reason. I liked the overall just storytelling of it. Made it really interesting. Kind of gave you a feel for what might be coming up, so you could make really good guesses on stuff. Even back then, you would still get leaks, but they would be so close to release. You know, it didn't. And Wizards didn't do these little promos and stuff like they do now. But I do like that my ADHD side likes the sets, which you touched on as well. Now I will go out on a limb and say this: had COVID not hit and had Arena not kicked off in popularity and Best of One being a thing, we would have stayed in blocks. I think with Arena and Best of One being a thing, I think it's better going with sets.
Do I agree with you? I'm thinking.
For Best of One.
No, I get where the argument's at. Like, it makes total sense. I think we were going to lean that way at some point anyway, though. I think we were going to lean towards sets regardless, yeah. And I don't remember when exactly the decision was made to... Because we had the Ravnica block that kind of... The Guilds of Ravnica, Ravnica Allegiance... that kind of block.
Okay, no, I know what you're saying, but I think it was made in conjunction. What I would say was, I think it was made in conjunction with the whole Arena becoming something that they wanted to push. Yeah. And then I think COVID just kind of, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly could have played a part. You might be right. I'm not positive, but I think I tend to agree with you. I don't know. I think it was the safe move to go to sets. I think it made sense.
Well, yeah. So it gives them the option to formulate what worked and what didn't work with the last one, and then pivot to a new direction for the next one. So, you know, whereas if you were in the card shop on an F&M, you were building your story, you could formulate decks, you used the good cards, and you just formulated better styles of those decks. However, on F&M, you get a lot more homebrews than you get on Arena, whereas Arena is super competitive on the ladder for the most part. You'll get some weird crap out there thrown at you every once in a while.
I make that weird crap sometimes.
I do too, man. I do too. I want to see stuff happen, but I think sets made more sense for Arena because, I mean, business decision wise, sets sell.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Whereas we've already discussed, if the block falls off in popularity, it wouldn't sell. And when All Runs Epiphany was absolutely destroying Standard, you know, they weren't getting an influx of players.
Yeah. Well, and I there's a saying from the co-creator of It Resolves, actually, my good friend Will, who started all this years and years ago with me. he had a saying that I thought was really funny, but is kind of applicable, which is quantity finds quality.
Mm-hmm.
What in my head, what that translates to right now is more similar to variety finds quality. So you get a variety of sets out there. They're one-ofs. People are either going to like it or hate it, but it's okay because they're going to move on to the next one very shortly after, and hopefully they like that one, And it's I think it makes sense. I get the argument from especially the business standpoint. I really do understand it. People don't necessarily want that huge deep dive that certain members of the community like myself, I think, kind of crave. And so I don't know. I found myself going back on the old sets, and you and I have talked about this, just like reading through the old novels and kind of getting my fix for some of that, even though we're not really getting any new stuff for it. So I've been enjoying that process. But yeah, I don't know. I will ask though, what's your least favorite set? Because I don't think we really talked about that.
Gate Crash.
Wow, you just
no
had
hesitation.
that ready to go.
No hesitation, bro. Made me quit for probably about a year.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I hated it. It.
That's an interesting one. I mean, that makes sense. I think a lot of people didn't love Gate Crash. Dragon Space was pretty terrible too.
I wouldn't. Nope. I'm glad you asked, bro. I didn't even research that. Yeah, I didn't. You asked. Shit.
I love that.
What about you, bro?
I have no idea what mine is. I didn't actually plan ahead for my least favorite. Don't laugh too hard, John. It's okay.
I did, man. I wasn't planning for that at all, bro. That just came flying out my mouth like some sideways hate. I don't know what was going on.
I'm like looking through all the sets really quick to see if I can find one that I know I really hate. Because there are a couple that come to mind, but I don't know.
No, look away, man. I gotta trim my beard. What is going on here, man? I got hairs flying out all over.
I need to shave. Mine's bad. It might. Oh no, this is so difficult for me to answer. Generally speaking, I find something I like in most sets, but like it might be something like Born of the Gods.
Yeah,
that was just such a bland set for me.
I mean, to be honest, one that I played through that I was not pleased with Dark Ascension.
Dark Ascension wasn't that great. Yeah.
No, man, it was just. Blah.
Can we talk about? We didn't talk about the like most hated block. I don't know if it's actually the most hated block, but one of the most hated blocks in Magic history, the Kamigawa, original Kamigawa.
That's the most hated? Are you kidding me?
No. Listen. Here's the thing. This is a bold statement. This is a bold statement, I know. But here's the thing.
Top 3 favorites on every list.
For me, it's one of my favorites because of the themes of the set. Like, it was a really rich theme, right?
Yeah.
Like, the artwork was beautiful. The thematic side of it was amazing. Even some of the mechanics were quite good.
The mechanics, the cards that came out of that crap. Oof.
That's notoriously one of the most confusing blocks in Magic's history because people didn't love the play patterns that came out of that set. So a lot of people didn't like it. For the play side, not for the thematic side. I think that's a very important distinction to make because I think most people enjoyed the thematic side. That's why we got to revisit it more so than some of the other sets like Lorwyn. But I do think a lot of people struggled playing that set. I don't think a lot of people enjoyed the playing of that set.
Now, see, I never had to play it in standard. I came in, like I said, I was a late bloomer to Magic, man. I knew it existed. My dumbass invested about $500 in a card game called Highlander, like the movie.
Wow.
Because you could win Conor McLeod's sword. If you won the tournament. Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm pretty sure, the price of the Black Lotus versus the price of Conor McLeod, which I think Conor McLeod's foil card is at about 50 cents on eBay.
That's getting up there.
No. I came in at Scars, so I still got Rise of the Eldrazi, World Wake, Zendikar, and Scars was my first one. Is it Thrall or Thrun? The last troll. That was the first first rare that I pulled out of a pack ever.
Such a good first pull.
And I'll always remember that. And I took my youngest son to F&M to set him up with the damn game, and now it's me.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait to have kids so they can disengage with me under Magic.
Well, they still play. They'll play Commander when they come.
Oh, I like that.
We'll
That's
drink
cool.
beers and play Commander, and I'll load up the table with food and nachos and stuff like that. So it's still fun. Get together around the table. And my wife rolls her eyes and she's like, "I'm gonna leave and go to bed before you all start fighting." It gets cutthroat, bro. It gets cutthroat. So yeah, I was a late bloomer. Scars was it for me. So I didn't get to mess with the Kamigawa interactions, the mechanics that messed everybody up. I think the first time that I really saw it was Innistrad, and the flip cards and stuff like that, and people were just like freaking out, and I was just like, bro, it's no big deal, just pull the card out and flip it. What the hell is your problem?
And what I have learned is that every Magic player just likes to complain about shit, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I mean, I know that's like a tired joke, we all know that, but like, man, is it so evident when you go to like comment sections of things like videos or whatever, or you know, especially when you are talking about like a topic like this, people just fucking complain, and I'm like, man, dude, suck it the fuck up and get over it. I just don't care.
Favorite deck is Esper Control, hard control. It runs no creatures. It wins on creature lands and Starnheim. No, man. Jay Villain, we were talking about it the other night, and he said it perfectly. He's like, you just don't like other people playing Magic. Well, you damn right. This is playing Magic. Well, the deck does nothing. It wins. It wins.
Yeah. Well, and my thing is, I mean, that's the great thing about Magic is like, and anything great will naturally be polarizing. Let me be clear.
Yeah.
But the idea is that no matter what your play pattern, there is a deck, or there's at least an avenue for you to play the game and enjoy it. And if all you're doing is complaining, chances are you haven't explored enough, or you have found the thing you hate, so now go the other direction and find something you love that's in contrast to that. Like, I promise you there is something for everybody in Magic. It's just a matter of digging through enough and finding it. And like, people, I think, just want to complain and be heard, and I get it. But that's not how you play a game. Like, you can be playing all day, but you're not playing the game if you're complaining.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. There is a ton of avenues to go with what your style is, and if you haven't found it yet, then just keep seeking it. I think the easy complaint is, oh, your deck does nothing. Well, it wins, so I don't give a crap what your argument is there.
Well, that's my thing. If you're the one spitting the argument, like, hey, this deck does nothing, but you're also the same person that lost to it, like, maybe shut up and build a better deck.
Learn how to play around it. I dare you. But no, there is, and this, you know, wherever you stand on sets or blocks, I do miss the stories of the blocks. I like the ability for Wizards to be able to pivot on the sets. It definitely makes their strikeouts a little less painful, but I do miss the stories. But you know,
it is what it is. I mean, we get them in smaller capacities now, but it's just not. It's not the same. That's all I can say.
No, and where the hell is, speaking of Wizards of the Coast, where the hell is your Planeswalker little series at? Are we ever going to get that? Did that just fall off the face of the earth?
I think it all fell off, a lot of it fell off. Oh my god,
man. Such an easy storyline to build on and get out to people. It would be great. And of all people, I think they were going to go with Gideon. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was the main one.
Could you possibly pick the blandest Planeswalker?
That's my thing.
No,
like, I'm kidding. Guys, we killed him off. Get over it.
Can't pull up Liliana. Everybody would watch that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't. I think Wizards starts down a path a lot, and then they're like, oh shit, no. And
let's go hire the cast of True Blood.
Yeah, like,
bro, what the hell? Can you not just
don't. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I think that's another episode. We're coming up with a list of new episodes. Well, all that to say, guys, I would love to pose the question to everybody who is listening. Are you a set person? Are you a block person? Do you have a strong opinion, and why? What's your favorite? What's your least favorite? I'd just be curious to know. I think this is a fun conversation to have. It's a little more lighthearted than I think some of the other topics that we could have very easily delved into, clearly. And so it's a nice one to bring up that we can all kind of just share some of our favorites. So feel free. If you've got a favorite, let us know. We'd love to talk about it. And with that, we actually get to come to the fun part. Not that this wasn't fun, but the lighthearted part where we get to kind of discuss just random magic or non-magic stuff, that happened this week. So John.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay. Thor, Love and Thunder. No spoilers. Don't go see it.
Wow, that was the shortest story, but okay.
No,
cool.
Man, it was just absolute garbage.
Was it bad?
Look, I like seeing Marvel movies on the screen just because I like comic books and I just want to see it. But, man, talk about the most emptiest movie ever.
Really?
Yeah, just skip it. Wait till it comes out on streams
Disney.
or shit, go pirate it online. I don't care. It was horrible.
I don't know that we should condone pirating, but yeah, if you want to, go for it.
Hey man, I can't stop people from doing what they're gonna do in their house.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, it just it was God, man.
Yeah, just kind of a flop.
It just I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
I mean, it happens. It happens. Not all of them can be bangers, right?
No doubt. Well, they succeeded in that.
Thor is also like my least invested of the Marvel universe, I would say. It's pretty up there as my least.
But I really enjoyed Ragnarok, man.
Oh yeah, Ragnarok was good, but Ragnarok wasn't just a standard Thor movie. They just tried to make a good movie, and it happened to be Thor related. They just wrote a really good movie and had the characters from Thor in it. That was really it.
Yeah, and they took a lot of just comic book moments and threw it into that. No,
which
man,
was
it was
a good
really
idea.
Good. So my expectations were high for this one, and then it just kind of.
Yeah, I think we passed the peak for Marvel Universe personally.
Probably. I don't know, man. Well, I mean,
there's not that there's bad, not that it's all bad.
Man.
I don't mean that, but I just mean there's a lot of
Sony made
stuff,
Morbius, and who knew that shit was going to be that awesome?
Yeah, so. That's true.
For the more billionth time, it was horrible too.
Yeah.
So no, that was it, man. I was just disclaimer. Don't waste your money. Save it. Go buy a pack of Double Masters if you can find them anywhere.
Yeah, I was fortunate. If you missed our Double Masters box opening, we did one this past Saturday for the collection series, sponsored by Grand Slam, which is my LGS, and they were kind enough to help us out. So thank you guys so much for making that possible. But that was a blast. I literally walked into the store. Normally I message, the owner's name is Josh. He's a super nice dude. I really like talking with him. But I normally message him before I come in, and I'm like, hey, do you have this? Do you mind holding a box or, whatever? And he's always very accommodating, like, yeah, absolutely. We'll hold one or two back for you, whatever. I was like, cool, thanks, man. I didn't do any of that this time. I just walked in, and he was like, was I supposed to hold a box for you? And I was like, I didn't ask you to, but if you did, that'd be great. And he was like, sick, yeah, I got one for you. I was like, hell yes, thank you, Josh. They had, I think, 2 or 3 left, max. Like, they had very few left. They had sold out very quickly. But, yeah, we did get a box opening there, so go watch that. But my story is, because I'm really excited about it, my new desk.
Yeah,
I'm so stoked about this.
I knew what it was going to be before you even said it.
I know. Of course you know. And everybody else knows because I've already talked about it, but I'm going to
Guys, I can't see him on screen, but I could hear him smiling as he was getting ready to tell you guys.
Fuck you, John. Yeah, so here's the deal. My previous desk, I bought on Amazon, and it was a super cheapo desk. But I liked it. It was nice. It was an L-shaped desk, and so I had like a music setup and then recording and like work setup. So I still kept with the L-shaped theme, but I was talking with Caitlin last week, my wife, obviously, and she and I were kind of talking through it, and I was like, I really want to invest in a sit-stand desk, but I don't want to spend thousands of dollars because they get really expensive. And she was like, well, let's look around. Like, maybe we can find something for you. It's investing in you, and I think that's a great idea. She was super supportive. So I was like,
Nice.
she's always supportive. It's not that I didn't expect it, but I was like, hey, I'm about to blow a lot of money on a desk. And she's like, yeah, cool, do it. And I'm like, wait, really? She was like, yeah, it's for your health. Like, you stand up throughout the day. That's always going to be good for you. Like, definitely invest in it. And so we found one that was reasonably priced, that's good quality. And so we got it in just the other day, in fact. And I still have to cable manage like hell. Like, it's just spaghetti under the desk. But the whole setup is just so efficient and so well done, and like I'm very, very happy with it. I got smart lighting, so I can like turn off studio lights all at once now. I don't have to go in and flip switches everywhere and like do all that crap. I've tried to really make it as easy as possible, and it's been a lot of fun. As you guys have maybe seen from gameplay videos, I've been standing to do the gameplay videos, and I feel like I can be so much more animated and more fun. And so I'm hoping that's a little bit more engaging for you guys, or at least that translates there. But we'll see. I'm sitting for the podcast because I don't want to stand for an hour because I'm lazy. But I love it. That's where I'm at. That's it.
And all the profits of the channel went to Kevin's posture. I'm kidding.
Went to Kevin's posture? That's
I'm
so
kidding.
good.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, basically. No, honestly, because of all the TCG player sales, which are kind of unrelated to the channel, but because you guys have been buying my cards.
Just joking.
No,
I'm
but
just
seriously,
joking.
it's because of that I was able to get this desk, because my goodness, like people have been buying a hell of a lot of cards there.
You finally take that day to clean out a closet and go sell some cards, and you may end up in an unexpected windfall.
I won't share profits, but yeah, I've made enough back that I could certainly afford a desk, so I'm very happy for that. No,
man, that's great. That's great.
I have also been pricing my collection, and I'm really stoked about all that, but you and I have talked about that too.
Yeah. So. No, man, the set stand desk is amazing.
Yeah.
I do want to spend a lot of money on one eventually. I also want to spend money on new monitors, and I want to get the actual framework.
Mm-hmm.
So I can, for the live streams, to split chat and everything like that. Because right now I've just got 3 monitors, and I got to sit here and freaking Darth Vader my way around the room and stuff to watch everything. But
I love that.
Nah, man, investments in it. I mean, that's where we got to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Step in the right direction. I'm really excited for it. And eventually, when Caitlin and I do move out of the townhome and into like a full-on house, we'll have a dedicated office space similar to what you have, is the hope. And so I'll be able to kind of deck it out a little bit more. But now I don't have to invest in a desk. Like, I've just got that taken care of. But holy shit, is this thing heavy?
Yeah, man. Because
my God,
it's got the up down capabilities, right?
Yeah, it's got 3 motors.
So
in it.
It's got the motors and everything. Yeah, man. Yeah, no, they're no joke, bro.
I was trying to, because it just came in one giant box. So I obviously FedEx dropped it off, and I was like, oh, sick. Like, I'm going to drag it inside and start taking pieces up. It took me like 15 minutes to just get the box inside. They set it 2 feet from my door. Like, it wasn't, it was so heavy. I'm not a strong man. Okay. I sit all day. I'm trying to solve that problem. So,
oh man.
Yeah, but I'm very happy with it. I love it. And I was a little worried about room. One side is longer than the other. So I was like, is the music setup going to have enough room? But it does. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm also going to write some heavy music soon, completely unrelated, but I listened to a heavy band that I love that just released some new music, and I was like, fuck. So I'm going to tune to Drop C. We're going to write some music.
Is this where you say the heavy band? So I watched the finale to Stranger Things season 4, and I learned of this new metal band called Metallica. So it's like, bro.
No.
Look, I'm glad you found out about Metallica, bro.
Yeah, right. No, this was, if anybody likes heavy music, this was Norma Jean, who released 2 new singles, and holy shit, they are chunky. And they're really good. I don't know what your opinion really is on heavy music, John, but if you like heavy music, you should listen to it.
I don't mind. Look, man, I'm not a huge Metallica fan, but I got Metallica songs that I like.
Let's not compare Metallica to Norma Jean.
Okay, well, I won't. Oh, so are you talking like death metal?
Not death metal. They're technically, I believe, a Christian band, supposedly, which is kind of dumb. But
so they're like Creed. No, I'm kidding.
You listen to Norma Jean and compare it to Creed, and we'll see how that goes.
All right, you got it. No, man.
If anybody likes Norma Jean, they are gonna berate you in the comments right now.
I know, man. I know. Look, man, my wife hasn't missed a Five Finger Death Punch concert. And what else is it that she goes to? What's Corey Taylor's band? Slipknot. There you go. Slipknot. I don't know why it escaped my mind. She would leave me for Corey Taylor. But her and my youngest son are death metal and heavy metal fans, and they go to every Five Finger Death Punch and Slipknot and all that kind of stuff all the time.
I personally like Norma Jean much more than both of those bands, but just my.
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check it out.
They're screamo, they're heavy, they're whatever, but yeah, they're not. I wouldn't say they're death metal or anything like that. They're definitely hardcore music, but they're not death metal. When I think death metal or black metal or something like that, I think of oh shit, what's the band that comes to mind? Job for a Cowboy is up there, but there's a couple others that pop into my head. But
I don't know, man.
Horde of Osiris, that's one.
I mean, honestly, man, I'd probably straight bore you. I'm more 90s grunge, not alternative, but grunge.
Sure.
Man, love Alice in Chains.
Alice in Chains is a great band.
And of course, any of the 100 bands Chris Cornell was in, just because his voice is amazing.
Yeah.
And then I like blues, man. Like,
I'm with it. I wrote a little blues riff the other day. I was really stoked about it. I just kind of found it, and I was really stoked about it.
Yeah.
But
I can
I'm with you.
I saw B.B. King in person playing, and second row from him. So, and he's not even my favorite. But yeah, man, I like blues and grunge and stuff like that.
I still need to put that music channel in Discord. We talked about that. I sent you a song, by the way, and you never sent anything back, and I got a little butthurt about it. That was weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was Sperm Whale was the name of the song.
It was the new one, right?
I think so. I think it was Sperm Whale.
No, it was the new one, but I asked you to send it to me. I swear I never got it. Huh. Because I was like, well, I mean, screw it, man.
Allow me to check my text.
If you don't want me to hear it, then I won't listen to it.
John, so, I want you to hear everything.
Then, yeah, send it, bro. Because, I mean, I listened to all of the ones you'd sent before.
I don't remember
that was linked on Spotify, but I really was. I mean, you may have, and I may have missed it, but
I sent you Central Station. That one's not very good. I'll send you Sperm Whale.
You're sending me stuff that wasn't good. Yeah. Where did you send it to, man? We've got so many. We talk.
I'm trying to just isolate our conversations to text because at this point,
yeah, man,
we talk everywhere.
We do, bro. I'm like, why is he? Okay, why do I mean, I literally have half a conversation in Twitter and then the other half a conversation in actual text.
I'm just trying to text you from here on out. Because I'm tired of jumping back and forth.
No sweat.
No, I'll send it to you.
We'll stick to text. Yeah, send it.
I think I might make a Discord channel for music just for the fun of it.
Yeah, but shoot both of them because I can't find the other one either. So, and I'll listen to them. Shit, I'm up here working anyways. All I do is listen to music while I play.
Okay, it's a dorky song, but I like it, so I'll send it.
Okay. Why is my camera doing the fade in, fade out?
I don't know.
Let's do it. Oh,
all right, guys.
All right.
Oh man, we've been rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching Glorious Sunrise. We really do appreciate it. We hope you guys enjoyed it. I know this was more of a lighthearted episode, but we got plans for the next one as well, and we're really excited about it. Make sure you let us know your thoughts, set versus block. Again, we'd really like to hear your opinions on that, and hopefully open up some nice discussions about it. So with that, we're gonna get out of here. But
yeah, also let us know if you got any topics that you want us to discuss that we haven't thought of. That's a possibility too. But sorry, with that,
now you fucked it all up.
I'm
Bye.
sorry. No, don't buy.
I'm buying. We're seeing you guys later.
I'm Country for Effort Channel that results. This is Kevin. This is John signing out. Everybody stay safe, be happy, and healthy. Peace.
What the fuck just happened?
I'll wrap it up. I'll wrap it up like a boss.